Hello, everybody. I'm Rachel, and welcome to my first episode of the Moon Club, where I bring awareness, light, and love to other women through my personal experience. This episode is dedicated to the Rebbe in honor of Gimel Tammuz, and it's the story of how I finally got permission to heal. I was in the doctor's office, third doctor in 2 weeks, having a full panic attack. I didn't know what was going on with me, and I was mad at every single doctor pushing their opinions. So everything started with one panic attack. I was on the plane coming back to New York after visiting my family, and in the middle of nowhere, I started having a panic attack, and I didn't know what was going on with me, and that feeling was very not familiar for me. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know what to do. I was in this tube that was flying above the sky, and I couldn't even escape to try to help myself outside of the sky. And all that made everything worse. Long story short, I'm already in New York. We're back home. And after the visit in emergency room, I went to sleep and I woke up almost 2 days later. And I woke up and I was a different person. I couldn't recognize myself. I didn't understand why I wasn't excited to be back to reality, to the old things, the routine, the beginning of the school, kids going outside, having fun, making plans. Like I was looking in the mirror and I just couldn't see myself. I didn't understand what happened to me, and I didn't understand why and how. How could one small panic attack cause such a big deal? After waking up, I started having existential crisis, identity crisis. I was asking the questions not everyone had answers to. I felt very down and unmotivated, not excited about anything, and my brain was just loud. Like, why? Where? How? Why? What am I doing here? Why am I here? Why am I in this body? Why am I Rachel? What's my purpose? Why am I in a body? I felt it was almost like I had a split between my body and my neshama. Like they were not in agreement with something or aligned with purpose. And I felt it, but I couldn't say it in words. I couldn't explain what I was feeling. And I was feeling totally out of touch and detached from reality. Everything felt gray and nothing felt normal anymore. And I was wondering why I wasn't excited anymore to take my baby outside with a stroller and enjoy the nice fall weather. Then started going to the doctors, different appointments, different referrals, different clinics, different methods, different places, even different boroughs and almost different cities just to understand what's going on with me. And almost everyone had the same answer. Most likely postpartum depression, most likely OCD, most likely just regular postpartum intrusive thoughts. And in my head, I was like, no, this is not a regular OCD or no, like I was in denial. Impossible. I don't have OCD. I never had OCD. And I for sure don't have postpartum depression because I was the happiest woman when I had my baby. Life felt amazing. Everything was good. I was just happy to be there. I thought, how is this even possible? In summer, I felt like I was the happiest woman on earth. I was so happy after having my second baby and seeing that my first daughter finally has a sister. And I felt so blessed and loved and excited to do all this like projects and traveling and planning and family reunions together. And I was simply just enjoying life to the fullest. And then this panic attack happened and everything changed overnight. Everything changed overnight, but I am eternally grateful to Hashem for this experience because it only brought me closer to Him. And I actually, I actually found Hashem at my lowest and at my darkest days when I felt like life was not worth it anymore. And that's when the plot twist happened and I met Hashem and suddenly everything started to change. Well, we will talk about that in the upcoming episodes. Um, Today, we're talking about um, how this all started and what gave me permission to heal. So, with this, with all this existential questions and negative emotions, intrusive thoughts, I was just so lost in my head and I couldn't focus on anything. Life was gray and I didn't know what to do with myself. We kept going from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor, but no one had a real answer. Then, thank God, Baruch Hashem, I found this clinic, or I should say, I continued going there and trusting the process because of the last negative experience I had with the other doctor. And that's when I had the terrible breakdown. So it was about the middle of December, where I felt at my lowest and I just couldn't hold it anymore. My husband and I drove to the city to see the specialist, and I just couldn't leave more frustrated and upset at the doctors. I had a breakdown in the car and I just didn't know what to do anymore with myself. And I had this urge out of nowhere to go to the Ohel, and it was probably like an hour and a half drive from the city. And I tell my husband, I feel like Hashem has an answer for me, and it's in the Ohel, and he's gonna send me an answer. And I need to go there. I need to connect to the Rebbe and seek guidance. And I remember it was such a cold day. So we started driving to the Ohel, and I felt this strong trust in Hashem that this is the day something's going to change. This is the day that I'm going to find an answer. And this is the day when I'll finally have the clarity and divine guidance. So we get there and I start writing the con. And I don't even remember what I wrote and how I wrote. Probably tears were streaming down my face. And I was just writing whatever I had in my heart. I just took it all out, went inside, and started davening, started pouring my heart out and asked for guidance and answers. And I opened Igros Kodesh what was written there would shock everyone. That was the exact answer I was looking for, or that was the exact answer I needed. And before that letter, I was telling myself for 2 months that I don't need medication. I'm better than that. Medication is for the weak people, and I can do this without it. And I even went to holistic healer and tried many other ways, but that one lady told me this is something that I should see a real doctor and treat myself for this. And I even was angry at her and the entire world, like they were not giving me help. I wanted the help I thought was good for me. So back to the letter, I open it and it's a little hard to understand as always because I don't understand such high level of Hebrew. So I asked my husband to translate it for me. But that one line was even clearer for me, which said, Hashem gave doctors permission to heal, but at the same time, you should remember was the real healer of all flesh. And suddenly something changed inside me. I felt like I was held by divine guidance. Yes, that was pure Hashgacha practice. I felt like I was being held by the angels, and I finally had this shameless permission, meaning to give myself permission to start the process of healing through something that Hashem put his shlichus in. I was just so embarrassed and ashamed and feeling guilty of even considering medication that I basically was denying myself the path to healing. Hashem created these things for purpose, and Hashem is channeling his endless mercy and energy and power of healing through something so concealed by nature or science or medicine that we don't realize that it could be our miracle. We cannot realize that it can be our path to new beginnings, to quieter brain, to less OCD, to less intrusive thoughts, to less worry, to less anxiety. Whatever helps you ground you for yourself and for your kids and for your family, it's worth it. It's worth it, and there's no shame to go on that path. So we have something that is concealed by nature, and it's a hidden miracle, and we also have ability to connect to Hashem on a personal level and draw down the light of healing from the source, from the Ein Sof, from our Father who has the best interests for us. And open your heart and open your broken vessel to receive that light and help you feel more whole. That is reading Torah and meditate that you're literally talking to Hashem right now. You're reading Hashem right now. And if you think about it, that whoa, like you're literally connecting to the creator of the whole universe that has no end and no beginning and is the source of all blessings and of all creation and healing.